So the first step, of course, is awareness. That's what this whole deal I'm doing is about. We got to shift the cultural narrative, essentially.
I feel like the big obstacle is like economic, basically economics, right? Like you can't have prosperity and like a first world nation without a thriving economy, and you can't have a thriving economy without burning a whole bunch of coal and fossil fuels as the
mental models go for people.
Right. Like we gotta make iPhones. We gotta.
It's not even mental models though. It's like.
Well, now I mean we don't have
for
the
developing nations to be keeping up in some sense too. It's the same sort of.
Right.
This is how they've been able to do it, and that's how we're
to wag your finger at a developing nation and say you can't do what we did is the height of hypocrisy, right?
And China's growing middle class where everybody wants a car now. Like you gotta just make cars. And
they put a new coal plant on the line every 5 days in China right now. They passed us in terms of pollution. There's lots of bad stats we can be throwing around. I lost what I was going to say.
Do you see that Times article about North Dakota?
No, what about it? About the lights?
Boomtown? It related to that.
You look at the website, right?
It just came out today.
I wrote about it a week and a half
ago. I read about this on
It's not just the lights. It's not just the lights. It was like a big article about the towns in North Dakota that have been affected by the boomtown. So yes, you can see the lights, but it's more about the overall pollution. Yes, I read the website.
You were ahead of the curve on this.
It's more of a cultural study and about how much we pollute now and burn stuff off and everything because of the new giant pockets of oil that they
see it from space. It's weird. It's pretty weird. So the first step is awareness. We have this cultural narrative that feels one way about the problem, which is like we can buy a hybrid and it'll be okay, or some environmentally friendly soap, but those are just bargaining chips against the real acceptance of the scale of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's the world is run by people who think of the common good as how much profit we can make.
We can definitely get into economics and capitalism.
No, I think that's the root cause, or that is the biggest obstacle to the cultural change. What I'm saying is that I think that's the big obstacle, right? Like you have to figure out how to put an end to this. Like we constantly have to be growing,
or
in order
change the thinking in terms of we're working to, gain as much wealth as we can right now, as opposed to thinking about, well, in 5, 10, 20 years we're going to be, this much damage is going to happen, billions of dollars of damage versus, with these megastorms or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're incredibly short-term creatures.
Money's not going to last if you're going to be dealing with food shortages and everything else too.
Yeah, I read a stat last night that they took a survey of a bunch of CEOs from major companies in the United States, and they said, all right, we're going to give you an option that you could do for your company that would make you huge returns in 5 years. And you'd be lauded as a genius. But in the short term, you would miss your quarterly projections for next quarter, like 3 months from now. 80% of them said no, they wouldn't do it. Like, capitalism makes us very, very short term. I mean, just in our daily lives, overall, I mean, we're pretty short term, but especially when you're dealing with money and quarterly reports.
Stockholders.
Yeah, I mean, on average, I don't know how many years ago, it was like 10, 20, 30 years ago, stocks were held for like 7 years on average. And today on average, they're held for 7 months. And basically what that means is everybody's trading around, gambling, trying to make money, and nobody's building value in the market. And it provides nothing for the rest of us, but it has real costs for the rest of us.